Alright, so it has been a bit, and I'm gonna try and upload more consistent rate. It's been a bit, and I've been, yeah, it's been a lot. And I finally have a job and things to take care of, things together, set aside time for. And I've been doing a lot, to try and stay put together, financially speaking. So it's not fun, but, you know, I can eat. Great. All right, so this is strategy. Strategy is an easier design pattern to do because essentially what it does is it takes information, name, set of fields, and things in between, and kind of just puts everything together from there in one interface. It then takes that interface and puts it into several classes, essentially distributing them across however far you can go to implement strategy. That's just basic implementation from inheritance. And you could use that from literally any implementation for an interface. If you want to get around multiple inheritance, use an interface. That's all there is to that. But then you want to actually use the methods that come from said interface, right? Like the similar thing, be it execute. That's a method, right? But what's returned is a number. Because what we want is a mathematic method. That's all there is. Basic arithmetic. What comes out of that is a solution. That's about all there is to that. But it gets harder. Why? Well, you have to make sure that every time you implement it, you have the exact same method in mind for every class. But once you're past that, all you need is one context. What is this context? It basically just says this thing here, it takes these numbers and then it executes said strategy or execute based on the strategy that is given. What is the strategy? An interface. Now we've set them up as classes. Anything that's implementing strategy is going to take that method from strategy and execute. What does it mean? Well, the strategy object that's new here is instantiated. It then sets itself to the object that you have in question, which is any of those classes. So when you set it to another object, you basically have it the same thing. Then execute that same method or that same thing, except it's on the contact. You can do that. You can't execute a method inside another object class because it's not distributed to that object. This makes that easier and just says, well, it's now my exact same clone method. That's a word I can. It basically attributes that to this, however you want it to. And I did it like this, which if I don't have a strategy set to this, because TypeScript is typey, you have to have a what if null. If it's null, then, well, you're going to execute a mathematic operator, which is just zero, which fine. But if there is an operation taking place, then I want straight to execute, straight to whatever it needs to be. And then I export my type, strategy, and all these other things. We're good. Do I actually need this? Well, let's look at it. This is a render of what this is, and it works fine, which is pretty cool. When you come over to app, I know it's a bit of a nightmare storm, but TypeScript doesn't care about that because it can argue what it's looking at. And then there's this. I know. But this is how it kind of looks. Excuse me. So straight call does straight the strategy. You have divide, and then have all these numbers. Divide, bitwise, and exponent were added later. Why? Because I wanted to show you that if I exported the type, I could add more strategy later on, doing different things. Means strategy, as long as it's a number, as it's originally intended, I could output something completely nebulous. As long as the strategy is whatever I need it to. Any of this is what it be. But these are the only things that are the harder part put out of the way. As long as I keep adding new classes, I can have more strategy to implement. But do I have to implement context? No, I don't, because context is already set as it. exe is just, well, this isn't even anything, just another method. In a way, it is a function. But all I have to do is set up a switch, choice, whatever strategy I want, set up the two variables, and then bingo bango, use this, execute strategy. That's pretty easy. One way that is. But you're like, okay, well, why do you do this instead of just put that in? Because you don't have this execute. You already have it executed inside of this block. Well, let's look at it. It might work. I don't know. So if you have to put this inside of why Windows is being why I switched OS. Put this like that, and it's done. Big deal. You can't execute this doing much. This is kind of like code that's unreal. Even though you want it to happen all the time, you have to put it state. Put it just right here up at the case. Font has to exist within the code. I know that's not. I'm wrong. Alright, so font is red, thankfully. But here, like do that. Save, then update. That didn't work. Why didn't it work? Just how it is. Go off. Or there's no inherent error to be shown. Because, well, whenever you execute this thing, I think more to do with the design pattern. How it does. The design pattern needs it executed where you're wanting to execute that strategy. And if you execute before then, it won't even work. So, yeah, that's great, but you want to return this, okay, after you, that would make more sense, okay? But that's not the thing. This, what you return this, does. The strategy implementation exceeding very simple. But as soon as you run whatever, what I was trying to say was, want this to execute context right where when you. In fact, so easy. Yes, you could wrap it up in a statement, have it execute. Want it to where you'd want. I just didn't want to write all these statements because there's no need. If you want a delayed execution, yeah, you'd have to set it up, put that somewhere, and then have your method call an area. So your context could be easily changed. I don't know why you want to do that. Something to deal with. The context, though, doesn't change it. Just changing out the strategy type. This. But then again, you wouldn't really, because it does work. Thanks. That's about it. It's easier than I thought getting into it. I knew it was so easy. That's how easy. And yeah, awesome stuff. All right, so time to shameless ad plug Sintra, and it's thing AIware. If you're running a company, if you're running a few people, if you have a lot of money, um, great. If you don't, this is also a pretty great option. You could add multiple contexts. Forgot to mention, but I'm only gonna say it because I already did this thing. Is this? Let's just go ahead and. I'm not saying create an object, but let's say we create a specific context called class text, and it's gonna be for the base. Give the A, B, all the stuff, and it's splendid. But we're gonna add another C. And it's how we're going to handle the strategy going forward. Which means context X isn't the same thing as context D. So what's the issue? Clear, not you. Well, your key. X dead. This, we're gonna put the basic stuff. Except this time I want to do something. What's going in here? Turn. This thing. Cool. Completely different context. When we execute this though, you want the straight, whatever the strategy, to return something. I want add number to be modified version of C. A default 40. So, or better yet. And then we're gonna add another thing because it's kind of log date. This context is going to add different functionality, which means, yeah, you'll see what I mean. Turn. Once. This is a different way of handling methods under the exact same thing. So you're like, okay, well, LC is a different method. Why not just put it in? Well, good, if you want it. But if you wanted the exact same execution method, what this is going to do is output a number, right? This isn't a number. It's a completely different context. What this means going forward is I have to then change it, okay, to a number. But it's outputting a string. Yeah, I know, it's a different type. But the point is to show you what you're able to do. This. Oh. Okay. No, not what I want. Hit the right. Turn this C. So that means pretty much it will always be 40 going forward. We'll take this thing, change it. As soon as I set up strategy. This is what changes. The X number. The font is not strategy that. Called. Cool. No? Ah, I know. You have to do it again. Fine. Here. Say is not used. He will be. Because it's as simple as adding another case. This. Case 3. Okay. Set strat. Then you go new. and it's any of the other ones because how we handle things. I'm gonna go ahead and add this. No. Go to bit W. Actually, because that goes up pretty high. Look. Divide. Bytewise is whatever we're gonna pick. And just do best. So these are different contexts. They don't intermediate that much, really at all. Unless you wanted to set some kind of strange context thing. By that you have a strategy that goes into context, but the context borrow from each other. There's no real reason I think you need to do that. I guess you'd write an updater function that changes the context over somewhere else. But this is the core of what we're doing. Yeah. And that's going to be 2. There you go. Should output 40 or if it isn't buggy. Oh. That's 2. Yeah, 2. Plus the 2 numbers. This. Okay, I fixed it. I just forgot to render it. And 2. Execute. I want to kind of set the strategy. Set and execute 40. Which is what I had, right? Okay. Well, if it's this easy, and you can do literally anything you want, you could set up multiple contexts and return them on each case-by-case basis. Go back to that, which is really update. It's pretty simple. Like, not complicated at all. This is bitwise, by the way. Actually no. This is exponent. That's why it's kind of high. That's no. This is that entire thing. But yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just gotta make sure these up, but that's it. I guess for a lot of things it makes a lot of stat calculations and gaming probably a lot easier. Since change the context, go ahead and here context for several things. There we go. See this? More or less C, which is where the number. I know probably changes. Like super easy, like I said. Output is greater. Yeah. Greater than 40. There's a key for that. I don't remember what. There's a better way of. Hang out. I could just. Yeah. So tab will just send it. Plus it works. All like you have pretty much a pretty or even unit test, probably body testing. Oh well. That's all for now. Sintra is a tool that lets you build a team of AI employees. It's got all kinds of features for you. Just grab and use as your new future template, or just whatever you need to replace basic business operations you can't normally do just in normal hours. You want to do it, get it out of the way. You have something that's really easy and can actually optimize your productivity. I don't think it's a complete replacement for a social media influencer or manager or some kind of really anything secretary org related. I think it helps with that job, but if you want to do it yourself, this is a nice tool to have on the side. Sintra allows us to work more efficiently with a lot more tools on hand. Credit to Luke Bergs for the outro and the Sintra ad.